Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment or medications if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here. Visit bewelltexas.org.
Andy, the only thing that says Squarin around that touches this body is made by Elite Sports, baby. You know where to get it, elitesports.com. They have a full slate of athletes that they also support. Use code SQUARE, get 10% off. What do you have to say about the fine folks that we got at Elite Sports?
I think the coolest thing about Elite Sports is they have customized stuff for the athletes. I always think it's cool when athletes have their own merch brand, and they've done an incredible job of supporting the athletes at Texas State in the past and in the future. And as NIL gets bigger and bigger, it's important to have a partner that is going to help make sure our athletes stay at Texas State. Elite Sports does that.
My favorite thing is that vintage Ben McClain shirt that I have. They do that stuff from time to time. So I'm going to probably scoop another athlete here in a little bit for these cold months. You know, might as well rock our stuff. Support the brand, elitesports.com. Use code SQUARE at checkout.
Jacob, there's a reason they call it home field advantage, and it's because of home field apparel. They make sure that you feel like you have an advantage when it comes to your college and your college brand. Look, they do a great job. I grew up a Minnesota Golden Gopher fan, a West Virginia Mountaineer fan. We're going to get the Texas State gear at some point, but they have so many different colleges. They got hats, they got shirts. You do not want to miss it. And let me tell you, the shirts, immaculate. They are the softest shirts I've ever had, Jacob. They're so great.
I'm not giving up on home field. Neither should you. Use code SQUARE at checkout. Support the brand, baby. I hate playing away games too. You're right. Who would want to sacrifice home field advantage?
I feel like I'm in home field advantage every time I'm wearing home field apparel.
Tired of winning the tailgate but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squaring Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
The holiday season, if you're not buying home field apparel or Elite Sports gear using code SQUARE, plug, then what are you buying, Andy? What do you go to for your go-to gifts for the boys?
So, okay, I will give a little bit of background. We do our friend group. There's 7 of us. You get 7 of the same gift, and you give it out to people. Now, the first year we did this, I was not in the loop. I got 6 gifts. I felt like such a slug. I didn't get anybody anything. And then the next year we did it, I wasn't here for it. So I felt a little bit less bad. This year, I'm in town for it. So I'm trying to go hard. I'm trying to like make it heartfelt, trying to do the whole thing. The problem is I know there's 6 dudes, and kind of like the planets, you know 3 of them really well. And then 3 of them are kind of just out of the reach. You can't really, you see them with a telescope, you see them in the group chat, but you don't see them in person a whole lot. So it's kind of difficult to figure out like, okay, it's kind of has to be the same theme for everybody. I thought about just doing like the copy and paste same thing for everybody. I didn't love it. So it's the same theme for everybody, but it's very difficult to get one guy. And I don't know, it's your former roommate, John Lee. I like John Lee. I just haven't seen John Lee in person in a while. And the last time I saw him,
I'm staring at my floor right now. I have his gift from last Christmas that he still hasn't picked up.
Yeah, like
he's one of my closest friends in the entire world. I don't see this guy.
Last time I saw him in person, we were having pizza together. I was on one side of the table, he was on the other. I hugged him goodbye. That was about it.
Yeah, he was there. That's how wrapped up in writing about the Bobcats I was. Texas State, UTSA. Boom.
So I like John Lee. I love John Lee. It's really difficult to shop for this guy. The other thing is, I'm gonna make it racial. South Korean guy, white guy,
South Korean gay guy,
straight guy. Sports fan, not sports fan. Like we have shared interests. We both like movies. We both like Jacob, but I don't really feel like going to get him like a movie on Mexicans.
You guys do this all day?
Yeah. Get this field done, maybe start on another one.
You get paid by the hour?
Not by the hour, by the field. Faster we get this one done, the more our father makes.
So it's gonna be difficult.
McFarland, USA.
I'm just saying. It's gonna be. I'm working hard. When you see this, John Lee, just know that the other 5 guys are really easy. So I'm working on yours.
The subliminal messaging. The other 5 guys are really easy.
Yeah.
For context too, I started this. I gave everybody really nice like koozies one year, like custom. It's like a retractable. It's basically like a what's it called? A beer.
It's a bong. It was a beer bong. Yeah.
Beer bong, basically. But it's really dope. And now
let me tell you, you gave me that gift
after you stopped drinking,
and then I stopped drinking. So it was in my car for like 2 years, and I actually gave it to Ryan as like, okay, I don't drink anymore. Here you go. And he
re-gifted something.
I didn't re-gift it. I told him Jacob gave me this as a Deekmas gift, and he sent me a video. He sent me a video of him using it. So somebody's getting use out of it. You're helping the war effort for sure.
Yeah, I this year's gift is a little low budget, but it's also like the thought that counts. But everybody does get the same. I do shoot for that because it's just easier that way. But I think everybody will be really pleasantly surprised.
In a perfect world, the first year we did this, Danny, our friend, gave everybody he had like 6 beer steins. Mm-hmm. And they're not all of the same type of beer stein, but we all had a beer stein.
This one's yours, Zimmel.
Yes, and
this one's yours, Jake.
And I used it almost every day when I was in North Dakota. Like I loved, and I still have it in my apartment. I use it time and time again now, not nearly as often. But it's great. It's just a great cup. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I'll do something like that. But I found like some Miller High Life glasses that I was going to do, but there was 5 of them. There wasn't 6. And I didn't want to do, I wanted it to be 6. And it was really difficult. So
I also because everybody gets a matching gift. I give myself that same thing.
Yeah, but
because I don't want to be left out in the group too.
It's hard because okay, what comes in 7 sets of 7 bowling pins? Besides that, it's hard. It's very difficult. So we're trying. It worked out. Another one. Here's another one.
Great Secret Santa gift. Or not, I want to say, what is it? White Elephant?
White Elephant. I didn't do White Elephant. I think I might. I'm still on the fence with it. I'll say this though. John Lee. I know John Lee. I love John Lee. Gary, don't know the guy from Adam. So shopping for that guy literally was just shooting in the dark. So
look, check this out. Because my friends don't watch this podcast, so it doesn't matter. This is the White Elephant gift. $13 at Target, bro.
That's not bad.
$20 gift limit for the White Elephant. $13. And I think, Jacob, you don't need to buy something that nice, but it's also $13. So
here's what I'm thinking. I think it's really funny when somebody has it's a 20 to 30 White Elephant, and then you go way over, and it's like, here's a $200 White Elephant gift. You're
one year,
what's going on here?
This chick walked away with an avocado, and so they imposed a very strict, actually get something worth $20 in value. But our friend Tristan Giese, friend of the podcast, gifted a sandwich making set where he bought a loaf of bread, a pack of ham, cheese, lettuce, tomato, peanut butter, and jelly, and he can say it's worth $20. But I think
that's really funny.
It is funny.
I don't know. That White Elephant, I'm not a big White Elephant fan, mostly because when I come to those type of things like parties, Christmas parties, I don't want to leave with anything. I kind of like to have my hands free. I like to come, hand it off, and then I'm done for the night. I don't have to worry about anything. So
I have a big confession to get off my chest. This is the start of bad Jacob. But last year we do this White Elephant party. Our buddy Danny gives a macaroni thing, right? So I unwrapped the macaroni thing. And I just kicked it behind all the trash, and nobody knew what I had. So I just picked up my gift at the end of the night. So I stole that gift, basically.
I stopped drinking in February, March of 2021. I was
This was
down
not
for
even
the.
drunk Jacob motivated, though.
I
This was just
I
like,
was
I'm going to
in.
steal this macaroni machine.
I was in that. That was honestly the last time I got drunk was at that Christmas party because we had tequila Jello shots.
No, well,
And
you're
or
thinking of
Everclear.
one that happened 2 years ago at this
Yeah,
point, by the way.
that's what I'm saying.
I'm talking
So-
about last year's Christmas party, which
Oh,
you
no,
weren't
I
at.
understand, but I want to get to the white elephant. The year the woman got the avocado, I got multiple bottles of alcohol. I left that party with like 3 bottles of alcohol that I left at your apartment. So I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
And they were good. They were good alcohol too. It was like it wasn't bad alcohol. It was like pretty good name. I think it was
I'm gonna cut this part, but I ended up gifting those bottles. Well, thanks for listening to all of us talk about Christmas stuff. I know this is what we should really talk about because this is what a lot of people are talking about on the internet. Travis Hunter, his girlfriend, and everything in between. Let me get this take off, Andy, because I've been entertaining this and workshopping this specifically just for this moment for you to take this in. Ready? Everybody gives me a bunch of BS for watching The Bachelorette.
I'm really excited to meet Charity's family. I know her family's opinion means the world to her. The only thing I can do is kind of mess it up.
Wah, wah, wah. Jacob's watching The Bachelorette. Then, a talented black man by the name of Travis Hunter.
First, I want to say I thank God, man. I never thought I would be in this position. It's crazy. Your belief take you a long way.
Has some semi-public relationship issues, non-issues. I don't know. She has a whole 8-minute video explaining it. You can dive into it if you want to.
Okay, I'm going to be addressing all this stuff online because I'm tired emotionally and mentally of seeing people try to make me out to be a person that I am not.
But that's pretty much The Bachelorette that you guys are watching in real life.
Oh, well, okay. That's fine. I agree with that. We talked about it, and you said, I don't care about Travis Hunter's love life. And I did. And the reason I did was because here's the deal. There's actual ramifications to this, like draft stock. Like, do I want a guy who has all these off the field romantic issues? Am I looking for a leader in the locker room? Hold on. Let me finish. Am I looking for a leader in the locker room who can't even keep his own house in order? You know, here's what I don't care about. Bree and Grace from a Barstool. My entire feed has been filled with that. That to me, I don't care. I have zero interest in that. And yet, here we are. Travis Hunter, I give a little bit of interest in. The other stuff, zero interest. And I'm force-fed both by the algorithm. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Maybe this is me, like, poo-pooing all over, like, sports journalism, but I don't even think it's real half the time. Like, locker room sources say. Like, what are we talking about?
Are you talking about Travis Hunter?
At the next level, wherever Travis is going to play, he's going to be a Sunday afternoon type guy. But it's not going to matter a bunch. He's making millions of dollars. Everybody else is making millions of dollars. Everybody else is very just self-centered, only cares about themselves. I don't care, honestly. I told you the other day. I was like, I could not give less of a F.
Interestingly, talking about saving things for the pod, I had an entire conversation with our friend Laura Krantz, and I kept it away from you because I wanted to talk about it here.
Okay.
So
Laura Krantz, by the way, is the faculty advisor for the University of Star, everybody.
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the podcast.
I have had a lot of downtime at work. I have been reading a lot of sports articles from the past 20 years.
From the University Star, or?
In both. I did the Wayback Machine on the University Star, KTSW, but also ESPN, The Ringer, Grantland, Dan Lebitard. I was reading a ton. Jim L. Hill. I was reading a lot, of these good sports articles. I don't think that there's a great sports writer in America anymore. I think that the age of the great sports writer is gone.
You're looking at him, baby.
I asked Krantz this. I said, I need you to ask your writers who their favorite writer is, because I don't think they have one. And I ask you now, do you have a favorite sports writer? Is there a sports writer in America currently that you have to read what they write? Like, they put a column out, you're reading it. They put a Substack out, you're reading it. A Medium post, you're reading it. I don't think that that's the case anymore.
No, I mean, I read a lot of Craven stuff. I look up to Craven as kind of like a father figure.
But he's not writing columns.
No, he's not writing columns. He's writing mostly just articles and features.
Yeah,
I read a lot of Carter's stuff too.
I wonder if the columnist is dead. That's my kind of where I was going with that, because like I was reading Bob Ryan, I was reading Shaughnessy, or whatever, Dan Shaughnessy, whatever his name is, from the Boston media. I was reading Mike Lupica, and it's like those guys don't exist anymore. They're all podcasters or YouTubers or talking heads on ESPN. Like there's not that.
This is actually perfect that you're thinking about this, because the way that we cover Texas State is like non-traditional as well. But it's because like I don't believe in some of like the traditional tropey-s. Like, are you doing your job if you go to a press conference? No, that's just like the bare minimum you could possibly be doing. You know, I don't know.
So this is where I go with this. You put a newsletter out every week.
I haven't done this week's, by the way. If you're listening to this,
okay. Well, it's whatever. You have time.
It's Wednesday. I'm on vacation, so sue me.
Yeah. If you wrote a column, an opinion piece every week, a weekly piece on Texas State, do you think that would garner clicks?
I don't know. I tweeted one opinion and I almost had to fight a guy on the internet one time. Remember that?
So you think that if you wrote like a 600 word column, that it would garner clicks? Do you think that people would be interested in that, and that would like drive
maybe, but
versus our podcast, which is essentially a column that we do every week,
pretty much,
because we give our opinions, we give the take, we set it up.
My newsletter is kind of a column, like it's not really straight.
But is it? But is it like? But is it? You're writing the opinions of like hey,
opinions of me.
Okay, all right, that's fair. That's 100% fair.
Thanks for subscribing, by the way. I know you're not on there. I know the email list.
There's 10.
Huh? There's 32 actually.
The
loyal Jacob heads. Shout out if you're on the email list. If you're not, click the link in our bio. I do one every week, just kind of summarizing basically our greatest hits from the
So what do you think? Do you think I'm off base here?
No, I think you're right, but it's because like the larger journalism world is on its axis too. Like there's not many of those like column writers, because like that space doesn't even exist for them anymore. Who's picking up magazines or who's on newspapers, or like now if you turn on ESPN, it's just guys doing this, what we're doing right now.
So and Krantz's take was, okay, we've moved away from the in the clubhouse writer to now like 3,000 feet. Everything is very broad brush.
I don't know. I disagree
and I
with
kind of
that.
I kind of get where she's coming from, because we don't get those like very inside baseball stories anymore. But I just think to myself, like, and this really spurned from me talking to radio people who their favorite radio host is, and they didn't have answers. Like younger people just don't. Like I have a laundry list of people who I listen to pretty religiously on the radio. Speaking of which, Doug Gottlieb completely put his foot in his mouth today. Lost the basketball game he shouldn't have lost to. Now isn't on the radio. Kind of sus. Anyway, I look up to a lot of these guys.
I don't listen to the radio at all, honestly.
I have radio. Well, but okay, do you have TV guys? Are there like a local TV person who you're like, every time they're on TV, I got to turn it on?
Well, no, the people I write for here, dude, I'm the one that does it.
Yeah,
I'm the writer guy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't. It's weird because, like, do you think that there's like a 14-year-old who's watching TV being like, hey, I saw
TV's
Jacob Rodriguez.
Too,
you know what I mean?
There's only a few guys that are like, that can do what they do on TV without someone like me, you know? Like, I'm the reason some of our guys are as good as they are. No, humble brag. But, you know.
MBD, no big deal. Yeah. I just think it's weird.
TV's different, though. But
it's just, I think the whole thing is.
And sports guys in TV are different also.
The whole thing is just really interesting, because when we were in college, everybody wanted to be Stephen A. Smith. And now I think that there's even more people who want to be Stephen A. Smith.
Who the heck wanted to be Stephen A. Smith?
You know, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who.
Let me tell you what. If I have a nationally syndicated show and the biggest star is not myself but my nephew, I'm going to be furious. I never want to be Stephen A. Smith.
I'm just saying.
Some ghetto kid from the valley with better takes than me? Absolutely.
There's a lot of people who look up to those type of guys, but like Stephen A. started as a writer, and like if you're not writing, how are you getting to this point? Yeah. If you're not producing or doing whatever,
and the whole thing, and I've been trying to tell people too, is like sourcing, because people are like, "Oh my god, how do you know this?" It's like, well, I know this guy. We go back to whatever. That takes time, and you have to like marry yourself not to necessarily a team, but like an institution, a way of doing things. You got to show up when nobody else is there. You got to make friends. You got to, it's a whole like connection networking thing. And that doesn't happen just like overnight, And he's very well sourced, obviously, because everybody wants to give him their stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. The reason I bring this all up is because it sucks because I grew up reading, ESPN magazine and Sports Illustrated, and it's just like those writers don't exist anymore, or they're all podcasters or YouTubers, but it's not the same thing. Like I was telling Krantz, being able to put out a good column is a lot harder than putting out a good radio segment. Putting out a good radio segment for me is like, okay, I know I want to go from point A to point B. I'm going to use this soundbite and this soundbite, and I'm using this joke and that joke. And it's like I formulate all that stuff way before I go on the air. But to write a good column, I have to A, get the quotes, B, transcribe the interview properly, C, I'm going to have to write that joke, and then it doesn't look the same in print as it's going to in my head. Like, there's just a lot more that goes into a column versus a good radio segment.
You transcribe the entire interview?
Sometimes.
I just write down sound bites the whole time. Like, I know, like we're going to talk about GJ Kinne and the portal stuff in a little bit once we get through talking all this stuff, which I don't know how I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, when I interview somebody, I usually just have a timer going that matches the time of the camera or the audio or whatever I'm recording. And then I can write down, oh, that was really good at this time.
And we can put a bow on it now. But like I was telling Krantz that the reason that there's not as many great columnists and so many podcasters is because it's two birds, one stone. I don't have to transcribe anything if I'm doing a podcast. I have the clip is there. And if it's a video pod like we do, we can put it in multiple places. We can put it on YouTube. We can put it on Twitter. We can clip it. We can just do audio only for Spotify if we want to. Like, there's a lot of different stuff you can do with just a straight podcast versus if this was a column and we're interviewing GJ Kinne for a feature piece. Well, now I need to go do a third, fourth, fifth source for some of the stuff, right? Like, it's just different.
Ooh. I just dropped everything.
I didn't even hear it. So, in other news, I matched with a girl on Hinge over our mutual love of the New York Yankees. And instead of being a Rico Suave type and able to pivot this into a date, what I ended up doing is sending multiple messages about how the Yankees front office completely fumbled by not getting Juan Soto. So, another L in the sports guy column. I think I'm pretty good looking. I think I'm pretty funny. When you get me talking baseball, something happens. It's just something inside me changes. And I talked Soto to myself because she did not match, but I don't think we're going to go further than this.
Dude, you are such a loser. I can't emphasize that enough.
That's fine.
Because when I see girls in like other Yankee hats on Hinge or Bumble, I go, you would look so much better in my Astros cap.
Here's the deal. I would rather be a loser being myself than anybody else.
That's fair. Anyway, Dan Cook, this is all about like his best columns that he had in the Express while he worked at Ken's 5 and the Express. Sound familiar? Working at Ken's 5 and then a magazine maybe somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe I took a lot of inspiration from that type of thing. But this dude is one of the last great American sports writers. He coined the term, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. That was that guy. So, yeah.
There you go.
Anyway,
now
let's start talking about Texas
talk
State.
GJ Kinne.
Yeah.
You sent me the press conference, and I watched about 5 minutes of it. And you said to me, at 5 minutes, get ready to cry. And maybe I'm soulless. What was I supposed to cry over?
He was talking about Mac Leftwich.
Yeah, I'll start with Coach Leftwich. Man, I'm not much in I'm not much into like tweeting out stuff about people and all that. Coach Leftwich knows how I feel about him. One of my best friends, and ton of respect for him and everything we've accomplished and built together the last couple of years. I think he's very similar to Coach Morris. Man, I think he's one of the best offensive minds in all of college football. And he had opportunities to leave last year. Some of the same opportunities that popped up this year for him popped up for him last year. And we were able to hold on to him a year ago and just appreciate him for that and coming back and he's just such a special coach and a special person. And one of my best friends. To be honest with you, it's kind of like when you break up with a girl or something. Like the first couple of days, you're still like texting her and like, hey, how do we do this? Or what do you think about this recruit? And I'm calling when I'm driving home, because Coach Loeffler is someone that for the past 3 years I've talked to probably every day. Like there hasn't been one day, Christmas, whatever, that we haven't talked on the phone, just because you got recruiting and you got game plan and just everything, life and all that. And so he's kind of been that person for me for the past 3 years. So that's been the hardest part for me, is like not necessarily the football and all that. Obviously we're going to miss him when it comes to that, but just the friendship and all that. So man, I know he's going to kill it out there. And I was really excited to see him go with Coach McGuire, someone that I'm really close with, and shoot, me and Coach McGuire were texting, and I was helping him recruit, like we were recruiting somebody. So Coach McGuire is awesome, and Juice over there at Texas Tech, man, they got it going on, and just a real solid coaching staff. And I think it'll be comfortable for him going from our staff to that staff. I think there's a lot of similarities when it comes to that. So man, just super happy for him and his family, and so obviously he'll be very missed. And then for us moving forward with the bowl game, it'll be a group effort, and we've already started that process. And it's just so hard right now. You're recruiting your own kids, you're recruiting other kids, and for us, since we're in a bowl, we're getting ready for the bowl game, and we got kids on campus, and with unlimited visits, it just makes it even tougher. And because we'll lose a little bit in January because of the bowl game as far as opportunities for guys to come in. So it's been, I think I had 2 dinners yesterday, 2 dinners today, a couple lunches mixed in between, and breakfasts, and so it's just we're full steam ahead, and it's a lot right now, so but that's good. That's what it's about.
Well, first off, that's later than 5 minutes, A. And B...
Oh, yeah, but I gave you 5 minutes, and then you go on.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's fine.
I'm not telling you listen at 10:01 or whatever.
Well, that's what I thought you were saying. That's normally what people do when they put a timestamp and they say listen at this point. So
it was sad.
I don't know. I feel like those two guys...
This is kind of like how you feel like when you break up with a girl and you're texting for the last couple of days. I don't know. No? You don't care about DJ Kinne and his qualms?
No. What I think is interesting is that Spavital at Baylor and now Leftwich at Tech, if both of those offenses are great and the defenses stink and those head coaches get fired, you potentially could have not one, but 2 former Texas State coaches leading Big 12 teams, which is kind of cool. I'm not against that, in all honesty. I think that's a kind of a nice little feather in the cap. A, because, okay, Leftwich deserves any opportunities he gets, and I hope that he has a lot of success at Tech. But B, how funny would it be if Spav won games at Baylor after getting 0 support at Texas State? I just find there's poetic justice, a little humor. And if Texas State wins their bowl game and we're 2-0 in bowl games after he leaves, I think everybody wins, right? Like, I can't be mad about that.
Yeah. There was also a clip that GJ had from this week's press conference that was like, well, these games are only fun if you win them.
Yeah, I think just kind of like last year, that momentum that you felt after, you're able to win that one versus Rice and playing an in-state opponent and beating Baylor last year and beating UTSA this year. It just, create some momentum, especially going into the offseason and recruiting. And this will be a big one for us, for all that, the momentum, the recruiting, it's just a big deal. So, we got to come out there and be prepared. These bowl games are only fun when you win them, like all the events and all that, like, it is what it is. But when you win the bowl games, it's fun. When you lose, it's not a lot of fun.
Which is what I said a month ago, because last year, if we had lost that game against Rice, we're back in the tailspin. We probably don't keep half of the guys that we were able to keep last year, including Ish.
No, yeah.
A few other guys. But, winning definitely solves a lot of problems. And if we win against a rival, not rival.
UNC's good. UNC's a good school.
No, but I'm talking about a rivalry game, because people are very quick to be like, that's a rival. But it's like, when did we play them? I don't know.
I think there's 2 different types of rivals. I think that there's the rivals that you play on the field, so UTSA, Louisiana, Troy, and then there's the rivals that you recruit against. And UNT is very much a recruiting rival, for sure. A school that you are recruiting against year in and year out, trying to go get the players in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So in that realm, yeah, they're a rival.
Who even wants to go to school there, dude?
I went, I visited, didn't like it. Did not like it.
Just their colors. Who wants to go to a green school?
Well, it's a weird green too. But
And
never
I reached
forget,
out to Mallory Hartley and Ashley Pickle, so we'll have one or both of them on next week, maybe, to preview this game.
Mean Joe went to UNT.
Big talk.
Hall of Famer.
Like portal stuff. Oh my God, this guy's in, this guy's out. NIL talk. GJ had this whole thing about it. Let me read you this quote verbatim. I mean, I'll play it on the thing, but.
Yeah, I think, man, it's been awesome. It really has. It's been a ton of fun, and we've had some really good players, really good coaches last 2 years. But what I'd say about that is the price of winning is going up. And if we want to continue to win, if we want to sniff 6 wins next year, if we want to sniff a conference championship, we need a lot more support than we're getting right now. That's just, it is what it is. You've seen what we've lost in the portal, and if we want to get anybody good in the portal, we're going to need a lot more money. And that's just plain and simple. Now, we can go out there and we'll evaluate with the best of them, and we'll get some hidden gems like we've always have. But that's the name of the game right now. People don't care about scheme. They don't care about university. They don't care about relationships. It's all about the money right now. So that's what I'd say about that.
I think that some of that's a hyperbole. If we're being completely honest with you, I know he has to say that. I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that
I'm inclined to believe that is what that man indeed believes.
Okay. I'm gonna zag. The way I look at it, and I finally have started to come around to Craven's thought line of thinking, where there is clearly a division between the Power Four and the rest of us. And I'm not talking about the rest of us in the Group of 5. I'm talking about the rest of us who play collegiate football from like FCS, Division 2, Group of 5, all the rest of us in Power 4. The way I look at it is this. There's guys like Ishmati who go from an FCS school, HCU, to Texas State, have a great career at Texas State, 2 solid seasons, and then go to Arkansas, a Power 4 school.
Potentially, he hasn't signed. He visited.
Well, he visits. I think he's going to Arkansas from, well, maybe not, but let's say he does. Okay.
I just don't want to say he is if he's not.
Yeah. Okay. And that's fair. That's fair. For the sake of argument, he goes to a Power 4 school. I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that that's kind of fine. That if Texas State is going in the portal, getting the best of the FCS, bringing him to Division 1, winning 6 to 10 games, going to a bowl game, and then those guys want to transfer up to go to the Power 4 to potentially go to the NFL. I don't love it. I wish that they would just stay here and win a bunch of games and get some money and then go to the league. I wouldn't, but I'm not going to begrudge them. I'm not going to hate it. I do hate Ben Bell, but the rest of it, I'm okay with. Like the best offensive lineman at Texas State wants to go play for Oregon now. All right, cool. I wish you would stick around for the bowl game. I wish that the transfer portal didn't open up.
Oh yeah, Alex Harkey. I actually talked to him today on Instagram.
I wish that the portal didn't open up in the middle of bowl season, middle of the playoffs, and we had guys like leaving their teams before like kind of important games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like if that's the game, that's the game.
And hear me out. This is the way like reality is like right now. But if like you don't think the NCAA and a bunch of billionaires are trying to figure out very rapidly how to fix all of this, you got another thing coming because they have a vested interest in keeping the eyes and hearts into college football. And I think a lot of people, especially like I don't know, just some like older people who like remember how college sports used to be. Like
we're guys were getting paid.
They were like, we are disgusted by the outcome of this game. You know what I'm saying?
I think Craven said it best on Twitter, where he was saying that it's on the academic calendar. So if you want to fix this, change the academic calendar. Make it so where classes start a little bit later. Okay, you can start spring enrollment after the college football championship. But guys get done with school, they walk across the stage, and then they're done. They're no longer a player. They're no longer a student at the school. So unless you get a contract and say, hey, you are at Texas State from August 1 to February 1, that's how it's going to go.
I've never
but back to Kinne.
Because, well, like if you have like a guy like TJ Finley, whose brand in football has been a transfer guy, right?
Yeah.
I guess you can say the same about Jordan.
Hired gun, mercenary.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about a lot of guys, right? But I'm using them as an example. But like, if that's your brand, I don't even know how you build a brand based on that. You know, like,
Well,
maybe you're good enough.
the same way that a veteran, the same way a journeyman does in the NFL, where like, hey, I'm coming in for one season,
but it's not the same game.
Oh, it's kind of similar now. Now that you get paid.
But it's not though. You know what I'm saying? Like these guys,
I understand.
If they get to the league, which is still a gamble. Like even at the highest level,
shiny,
if you're in the SEC, it's still insane. But if you get to the next level of this, like we're talking about like Texas State. Now we're talking about the SEC. Now we're talking about the NFL. If you get to that very tippy top level, it's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. Now back to GJ Kinne talking about money and like scheme and stuff. I don't buy that at all because I still believe guys are going to look at GJ Kinne's scheme, look at Mac Leftwich's scheme, look at Jake Spavital's scheme and go, hey, I want targets. I want touches. I'm a great quarterback who wants to go play in the SEC. The best way to do that is to throw 55 touchdowns at Texas State, air the ball out and throw for 4,500 yards. You can do that. Right? Like that's a viable option in this offense. Now, if we were running like the triple option and we're like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, I would get that. I would say, oh yeah, he's probably right. People aren't coming to Texas State for the scheme. But the relationships are there, the scheme is there, the money is getting there. But yeah, I don't know how much I buy that.
Personally, after this season, unless they're on this show or talking to me in front of my camera, solo dolo, I don't believe a word any coach says in a press conference, in a video, in a Twitter thing. I don't believe anything because they have not been forthcoming with anything that they could have been at the beginning of the season.
Give us the one. Yeah, so the Ben Bell one is the one that comes to mind quickest. But what is another one for you?
Another one was probably, before the season even started with homeboy, the quarterback. What's his name?
JDL.
JDL, yeah. That one was kind of weird too. There were some players that this season, so we never heard about that, did we?
Yeah. Look, I would say that if you are
it's not that I'm trying to defend the actions of the team, the athletics department, whatever, right? There's just certain things I'm going to write about and certain things I don't want to write about. And there's certain things that they could be telling me and certain things that they shouldn't be telling me.
And there's the death of the American sports writer right there. There goes capital J Jakey.
What are you talking about?
I'm just saying, there's things I want to write about and don't want to write about, brother.
It's true. I don't want to write about a dude getting busted with
about the truth.
A national title?
The truth will set you free, Jakey.
I refuse to write about somebody getting busted with The founding fathers smoked weed, Andrew.
Yeah, you know who's going to fix this? Donald John Trump. All right, so I will go and say that I'm sorry that you're coming to this realization, but this is kind of how it's been forever.
What are you talking about?
When it comes to coaches lying to us, that's why I've always been like, no, I'm going to call you out on it. I have a BS meter. Sometimes it goes off the charts with some of these guys. I just think to myself, if it was just Texas State that was going through this, everybody else had NIL money out the wazoo, and we were the only one, we were the poorest guy on the block, I would feel bad, woe was us. But like, we all have to kind of deal with this. Everybody at this level is dealing with this. So I have less of sympathy. It's more of like, how creative are you to solving the problem? And so far we've been pretty creative.
And I was ghost listening on what are they talking about? Spaces X thing?
Yeah. Whatever. Do you like those?
I really enjoy them actually. But I was just listening because sometimes it's nice to just listen and not have to create content. And I don't want to just show up with my fancy profile and they're like, hey, you know.
So how do you ghost listen? You got a burner or what?
Just click and listen anonymously. That's how.
Okay.
Yeah,
see, I don't do spaces anymore, so I don't know. I'm asleep.
It's fun.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes I just listen like that. And they were talking about, or Thad was on there and he was talking about like, I wish there was some like magic number I could say like, this is what we need to fundraise at to like avoid sort of these kind of issues that we're running into.
What issues are we running into?
It's just like the ability to retain talent at this level, you know? But I feel like if you are like, and Joey Hobart, this doesn't even apply to him, but like, let's say he had another year of eligibility left. I think he'd probably be in the portal too after the season.
Yeah.
Potentially.
But like, it's not like these guys are going to Louisiana or JMU or Troy.
Yeah.
Eden went to Michigan State.
No, I know, but this is like
You
the
know,
people who like want like college football to be what college football is about. So you sign a guy, you put in like money, effort, attention to all these things, and this is all like sort of stuff that is relatively unique to the college
those
football
people.
space.
But here's the thing: to those people, I say you've never been a baseball fan of a small market team, because the rest of us, have been dealing with this forever. Where it's like, hey, the best player on the Kansas City Royals will not be on the team in 5 years because the Yankees or Dodgers or Mets will just buy them and they'll just take them away from you. Like that's kind of how this whole thing works. And college football,
when you put it like that,
there.
I guess I'm not so sad because everybody.
You know what I mean? Like,
at the end of the day.
Here's the deal: is too.
But if the thing is too, like if we were just robbing everybody blind, nobody would give it.
No. If
we would be like, everything's great. What are we talking about?
System's not broken at all. Yeah. So, I mean, college football is in their baseball era right now. It's going to get fixed. There's going to be a revenue distribution model coming out. Mm-hmm. These schools are going to have a salary cap at some point. So, that's kind of just how it goes. And I will say this.
I like that. That was a really good take that you walked me off a ledge for. Thank you, Commissioner Zimmel.
I try. Well, like
I was ready to jump, and you held me down.
It's never that serious. The bottom line is this: Book of Zimmel, verse and chapter. If you're a college football fan and you are of the opinion that if you do not win a conference championship, a playoff game, a national championship, that it's a failed season, then you are robbing yourself of joy. My plan going forward for Texas State in the NIL era is this. Do we have a good head coach? Yes, we do. Do we have a good support staff? Yes, we do. Do we have good players? Yes, we do. Do we win the games we're supposed to win? If we do that, I cannot complain. I'm not going to complain if a guy wants to go get paid more money somewhere else. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many hits your body can take. I'm very much a libtard in this way that, like, if you're a running back or a quarterback or a defensive end, your body is going to break down at some point. I don't know if it's when you're 24 or if it's when you're 34, but your body's breaking down at some point. So go maximize your body to the level that you can while you can do it. And if that means you have to go to University of, Incarnate Word, St. Mary School of the Blind to go get paid $1 bajillion, go do it. Go get your money. I'm going to give money to Texas State so that you come here and get money from us. But if you need to go get money somewhere else, I'm not going to begrudge you for it. Just be honest with us. Do not pull a Ben Bell and not tell us what's going on. That's my only thing. Just tell me what the deal is. Hey, I played 3 games. I'm going to use the red shirt. I'm going to go get paid somewhere else. Fine. I think you're greedy. I think that you're ruining the season, but fine. But don't pretend, like, don't act like you're hurt. And if you are hurt, tell us you're hurt. That's the thing that irks me. Somebody said this recently to me, Jacob, that in America, you are innocent until proven guilty. But the minute that you lie to us, you are guilty forever. Mm-hmm. The minute that you look at us in the face and lie to us, it does not matter what you do. You could be Mother Teresa. If you lie to us, you're dead to us. And that's how I feel about college football players. If you are honest with me, hey, I'm trying to get the bag, I'm trying to get out of here, fine, go do it. But if you tell me that you're a Bobcat and then you just leave halfway through the season, I'm not going to forgive you. That's the only stipulation.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And there was a lot of talk about that, like, oh, what if they had to pay that NIL money back? Or what if I will say too, through that whole Zimmel tirade, which was very great, very good, I never interrupted once. So let my takes develop like that, huh? How about that? What is that, Zim? Trail mix?
Trail mix.
I tweeted a whole thing about money. Did you see this thing about the salary cap, basically? Or not salary cap, I'm sorry.
The salary pool.
The salary pool basically, like, doubling in size from this past year or last year at this time to right now at this time. So,
now, I didn't quite get what you sent, because you sent it early and I saw it and I was like, okay.
I sent it at 4:10, by the way.
You didn't send me the update. And I was like, okay, what's going on here?
No, so you didn't see the thread?
I saw the thread later, but like in the original text, I didn't understand what you were saying.
Oh, well, that's because you're dumb. Basically, I've been tracking the coach salary pool. So if you're not familiar, Texas State gets a certain amount of money that's set aside year over year to hire support staff for the coaches, right? So that's the offensive coordinator.
Arguably the X factor in how this team goes.
Basically, their big money bank to be like, okay, this is how we're going to pay whatever, whoever we're going to bring, analysts,
Eric Bieniemy,
Leftwich's replacement, Eric Bieniemy, perhaps, yeah. In 2016, that number was 994,435. In 2024, which when we first got this data, it was 1.6 mil. So it's kind of a substantial change. And if you're wondering, hey, Jacob, why did you do that in 2016? Well, it's because I'm really fond of the time that me and Zim were freshmen at Texas State. And so it's a good benchmark for me to remember.
But also, it's a huge jump.
Yeah. So, and it's, I guess now, like, as I'm not like...
It's almost 10 years.
Yeah. So actually, kind of good journalism too, by mistake. So I just have been updating this. And this year, I was told that that salary pool, that amount of money that we have basically to hire coaches, which started in September 1st of 2024, so it would have been at the very beginning of the summer basically, was $3,012,500. So kind of a bigger substantial jump. Like you're talking about like $1.5 million, basically more. The percent change from 24 to 25 was 80%. So kind of a big deal. And I hope we're going to see that reflected in whoever we hire to be the OC at Texas State. Because right now it's kind of a decision by committee. Probably will be GJ Kinne calling plays ultimately at the bowl game. But right now he says it's a work in progress.
Can I, and this is a good time to slip in there, the Chandler Morris of this whole thing. I'm very rarely, I would say this, very rarely am I so much on one corner that I'm like planting my flag, concrete down. There was no way that Chandler Morris was coming to Texas State. There was zero chance. Like, less than zero chance that was happening. So and also he's not good. I need people to understand.
That was my take to begin with. I was like, I watched
that guy play a lot of snaps at TCU, covering the team in the loosest of terms, covering the team. I hated every minute of it. That guy stunk. And to say that he was going to come to Texas State, I saw Tyler Jones written all over that guy. All over that guy.
You leave that guy alone. You leave our white king alone.
I like Tyler Jones, but Chandler Morris
Please come on the podcast, brother. Please come on the podcast,
Tyler Jones, yeah. Chandler Morris, stay away from me.
By the way, after last week when we talked to Coach Johnson, they dropped that game at FAU. I was pissed. I was so mad.
And look, you can cut it out again. But we got done talking to TJ, and I like Coach. There is so much coach speak there. Like, that's the difference between there's got to be something to be said for a guy who you like. I like the guy. I genuinely do. His teams aren't any good. And we'll see how it looks in March, and we'll talk to him again in February beforehand.
Yeah. Hey, everybody deserves one, right? They're 7-4. It's all right.
Dude. I don't know. We should have before the season made a prediction what their record's going to be, but I don't see them above 500.
We could do their in-season stuff because
in the conference.
Yeah, conference play.
How many conference games do they play? They play like what? 12?
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12. And then they do 12. That MAC SBC tournament in season.
I'm going 7-5.
I think that's fair because they're 7-4 right now. So
I think 7-5. I think they go 7.
Do it again.
I think they go 7-5. 14 wins on the season. and we'll see how they look in February. I hope that they have a good. I hope they have a good deal. I liked going to
every
college.
week.
I liked going to college basketball games. I hate watching college basketball on TV. College basketball in person is really the only way I can watch it. Kind of the same way with baseball in a lot of ways. Like if it's in person, I'm much more like locked in. But yeah, they can't drop games, man.
When I saw that happen though, I was pretty mad. I'm not gonna lie. Because
Did you watch it live or did you watch the replay?
No, I just watched the replay.
I've been getting into watching the replays on ESPN Plus because I know the outcome and I can just skip around and be like, all right, let's see how this went.
No, well, that's what I did before we talked to him too. So
I pull up the ESPN shot chart or the game total or whatever, and I'll be like, all right, we went on a what? They went on a 10-0 run? No, we'll find that. Let's see what that looked like. Oh, you were good. The last one was fine.
5 F-bombs last week, by the way.
You did?
And not F-bombs, but swears, yeah. And I didn't catch one at the end, so I'm so sorry if you were watching that one with your children. Because I was really good. I caught 4 of them, and then I missed the one at the very end.
How'd you miss them?
It was because I kept that part of you and me talking about the picture that Maddie took. And at first
I don't remember that.
I had deleted it. And then I was like, who needs that? And then I was like, honestly,
Maddie took.
It's kind of funny, yeah.
Oh yeah, because I had a dream about that. I did. I had a dream, and I don't want to spoil anything, but in 2025, I'm doing picture of the day. We're doing 365. We're doing every picture every day on Instagram. Every day, I'm going to take a photo, whether it be me at work, me with friends, because I realized recently I don't have a lot of photos of myself on my phone. So I'm going to have other people take photos of me potentially to put on Instagram. But we're doing it every single day, the 365 challenge. Every day,
real Instagram post every single day?
Every day I'm putting an Instagram post up.
I'm going to mute your ass.
That's fine. Do it. Well, my thought is this. There's a lot of... If you follow any like sports content, ESPN posts like 15 times a day. So my one post isn't going to really change your algorithm all that much.
Well, it depends, I guess, of who you're following, because Colton, he came on this podcast and shamed me by following Sydney Sweeney. My bad.
By the way.
But he was like, well, I only use Instagram to follow my family and my friends. And I was like, okay, my bad. I follow Nestle too. I don't.
So you follow a chocolate brand that's been known to use slave labor and Sydney Sweeney. Okay. Sue me. All right. Jeez, Louise. All right. Good.
Follow Nestle on Instagram. That would be crazy if I did, though. Do I?
I will say the best.
Way I do. I'm too vain to not try to.
The best content this podcast has ever given us is the Sydney Sweeney link. That was so funny.
Yeah, I don't follow. Boom.
That's good.
I had to check that one.
Why would you be following the chocolate company?
Make good stuff sometimes.
Well, anyway, so my point is, you gave me grief last week about the photos I took. I went back and looked at them. Are they the best photos in the world? No, never claimed they were. They're not as bad as you were making them out to be, but I'm going to get better. I'm doing the 365 challenge. That's the plan.
That's cool. That's really admirable of you.
I'm going to try.
I said what I did last year, and you were like, no, you didn't. That's the biggest crock of S I've ever heard in my life.
Which was
all
what?
About hair, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Healthcare.
This guy.
And I did it. Mission accomplished.
Yeah, hooking up with real good self-care.
Got the job
You
done.
want to leave that one in there for Mal Rodriguez?
Got the job done. No, I'm going to edit it.
Leave that one in there.
No, I'm editing things. I promise I'll actually go through the whole pod this week. And
that was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're curious of the country's only swear jar for NIL at Texas State. Jacob Rodriguez owes $31.
I told you have a potty mouth.
At this point in time. I haven't included everything in this episode. I probably let 2 or 3 fly.
You let more than 2 or 3 fly.
Zuma owes 7. Yeah, but there's so many things that I have to omit from this podcast that sometimes those slice correctly. Colton dropped 3 when he visited us. Scott did 2, and Alan donated us $3 at the Pluckers event. So
he paid for Colton.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. Home field has UTSA gear.
People on the internet going, "Hey, how come we don't have home field gear? Why don't you listen to our show, bro?"
I stand on this take. If Texas State was still called SWT, we would have gear. Like I truly believe that if we were Southwest Texas, we would have gear.
Why?
But because of the rebrand, and we don't have like a long history of being Texas State, we don't have that.
What do you
If
mean?
we were Southwest,
we got that name in like 2011.
Yeah, we were Southwest Texas for like 50 years. Like, what are you talking about? If we were still SWT, we would have gear.
The school celebrated its 125th birthday this year. Like, it's kind of all relative.
Yeah, I guess.
It's true.
Well, would you rather? Well, okay. Are they going to be normal school? Texas State normal school?
Kind of rad, honestly.
No.
Dude, you want to see the sickest University Star shirt I have? This is the sickest University Star shirt I have. Boom.
69. Nice. I'm telling you, we should have made shirts. I survived COVID and all I got was this lame shirt.
Elite Sports, hit them up.
Yeah.
Thanks for squaring, everybody.
We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. Better not come any closer.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.